Well, welcome to this video, a preamble into the contentious world of supervision training and development. I want to introduce you to some modules and articles that you can access on Learnline, the CDU learning platform. You might assume that training and development in research supervision is futile. After all, you might feel you're too experienced, too astute, or too inundated with work to concern yourself with supervision training and development. But for three reasons, these modules and articles could be valuable to you. First, we've specifically developed materials that are designed to expedite supervision and in particular prevent inefficiencies and thus diminish your workload. For example, we've developed resources to curb the time you need to read and to correct drafts. Consequently, I'd argue that you're not too busy to read these materials, but too busy not to read these materials. Second, we've developed materials that present surprising but validated techniques on how to inspire students who are not flourishing. Now, you might feel you've already acquired all the knowledge and skills you need to achieve this goal, but you might not be apprised of some recent, helpful and unintuitive discoveries. For instance, did you know that students work more diligently after they vividly imagine some forthcoming event, orient their attention to the progress they've already forged, remember a time in which they felt powerful and important, or even watch the horizon for 2 minutes? Unfortunately, many of the techniques that at least some supervisors utilise to motivate students, such as to underscore the consequences of failure, are beneficial initially, but detrimental subsequently. Finally, we've constructed materials that diminish the likelihood of serious problems from burnout to suicide. American research indicates, for example, that approximately 10% of PhD or Masters by Research students have seriously contemplated suicide during their candidature. So supervisors need to learn about some of the strategies that preclude these problems. For example, after supervisors disclose their own limitations and shortcomings to PhD or Master's candidates, the well-being of these students tends to improve. Now, admittedly, when unfulfilled deadlines are looming and could jeopardise $10 to $50 million grants, and the workday spans from 6 in the morning to 11 at night, the well-being of research students might not seem like a priority to you. But even brief, trivial shifts in your behaviour can transform the experience of students. Describing one or more of the strengths of your students every 3 to 4 months or so tends to increase their resilience and persistence. One moment of compassion towards students, such as empathy towards the apprehension and uncertainty they inevitably experience, diminishes their anxiety and actually increases motivation too. And these changes temper the rush of cortisol that students often endure, enhancing the functioning of their hippocampus and other brain regions, ultimately improving their memory, learning, creativity, and performance. The only role that is perhaps as gratifying and noble as conducting research for the betterment of society is inspiring and helping someone else conduct research for the betterment of society. And we should remember that students often remember the words we convey for the rest of their lives. So I feel that we should never lose sight of the privilege to be granted the honour to supervise and to shape the life of another human being.